Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of History Hyenas. The extra H is for Hystadion, who was Alexander the Great's, I'm pronouncing it wrong, best friend who got banged out. I'm Yannis Pappas. I'm with my co-host, Chrissy, who should have lived in this era because you could bang guys, you could bang girls, you could bang eunuchs, and nobody's going to judge you, and your dad can live through it all and be proud of you.
It'd be proud of me because I am Chrissy for the table.
Yeah.
That's what it is, cuz make no mistake, you've told me many times that I order weird food items for the table, like souvlaki. I told you I'll get fettuccine alfredo for the table. But if I was living in this era of Alexander the Great, guess what I would order for the table? Me.
Yeah.
I'd be for the table. You guys could just eat me. You could eat my butt.
For the table is such a good, because I always do for the table.
Sure.
I always order something else for the table because I'm a fat-hearted kid.
Right, but you do look skinny right now.
I do look skinny right now. So what I do is I'll order my food, and if I'm eating with other people, I'll go, yeah, wait, let's get something else for the table, which really means I want something else, but I want you guys to have a couple of spoons for it as well. But
Yes.
really, I just want 2 dinners.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
You want 2 dinners.
But you do. You're going to do fettuccine alfredo, so we'll just have to take a couple of spoons and get in there.
Yeah, for the table. And now I used to not eat sweets on Saturdays, and I wasn't able to keep that up for very long. I kept it up for 6 months, but now my new thing is I'm gonna try to not eat sweets during the week, but if I do have a sweet, it's got to be home baked. So I'm gonna have a home baked sweet. I'm not gonna have a processed sweet, but if my family wants to make brownies at home, I'm going to have a bite.
What you're doing is the addict's negotiation. That's what they call it. You're in the addict's negotiation phase.
Yes.
So I know so what you're doing is you're going, okay, I'm addicted to sweets, so what I'm going to do is going to negotiate with myself and create a couple of rules.
Yeah.
Until those negotiations fall apart. And then you're gonna just go. You're just gonna be black and white cookies smear all over your face.
100%.
And then I know what's gonna come is you're gonna start telling me about Eckhart Tolle for 4 weeks.
Yes. Yes. And the power of now.
The cycles of Chrissy.
Because the power of now, you got to read it. The power of right now, you got to be in the. Guess what I'm friendly with today? The present.
The present.
My feet. I'm where my feet are.
Yeah.
That's the new way to say it.
Yeah.
You got to be where your feet are.
Yeah. And do you think these kids back then had existentialist angst? And what kind of trauma were they walking around with?
Yeah.
I mean, these guys were in battle. Alexander the Great, who we're going to talk about today.
Who Colin Farrell played nice, and he banged out Rosario Dawson big in the movie.
And that was she was playing the Persian wife Roxanne, who, make no mistake, like you said, Persians remind you of Puerto Rican chicks, and Roxanne had a couple of Alexander's other wives killed.
Guess
she
what
was
it
a
is.
jealous kid.
Here's I can
She was
describe.
looking through Alexander the Great's phone on the regular.
It's what it is, because make no mistake, Persian women are just Puerto Ricans with fumes. It's what it is, because they are sandy.
Yeah, they're sandy.
But it's nice, and that breeds fumes, and it's not their fault. It's just the climate, cuz.
Yes, it's the climate.
It's just the climate, because Puerto Rican girls, yes, they live in warm temperatures, but they can just put a little aloe down there, and they rub a little aloe, a little coconut, and then they have no fumes, where the Persian women are beautiful, and they just don't have access to the same types of coconuts. Basically, Puerto Rican girls put coconut cookies in their pussies.
Are you basically saying that the coconuts is the fume vaccine?
That is. Yeah, the fume vaccine. And then we have another vaccine that we're going to tell you about at
No, we're not gonna do it. That's Patreon. Yeah.
History Hyenas. At patreon.com/History Hyenas. Giannis and I came up with a new vaccine, and you're going to want to hear all about it. And if any of you clip it and put that out on the internet, just know you'll ruin my life.
Yeah, no, we can't. I don't know if but here's the thing.
We might say it, though, at patreon.com/History Hyenas. It could happen.
If we do like the big tier where we read our texts, it's in our text.
It's in our text.
It was a joke that happened in our text.
It's in our text.
Yeah.
And then we have
but it's not a joke for the table.
It's not a joke for the table. And then make no mistake, we will also upload a picture at patreon.com/History Hyenas, which is in our text, of a very famous friend of ours that we put his face on a very not so nice person's body.
And it's a 10.
And it's a 10. And we sent it to him 5 years ago, and he called us and yelled at us. So we're going to put it on Patreon, because make no mistake, we don't care.
I don't think we want to do that anymore with the History Hyena redux.
Yeah, okay, let's not do it then. We're out. We're
Yeah,
out.
unless you can afford $5,000, we may just do a wild.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll call it the career ruining tier.
Yes.
Where it's like, listen, this is 5 trusted people.
Yeah.
Who can afford this tier, and we know you guys, you can share these
Yeah.
crazy jokes. And
Or
we
we
didn't
could
make that. A fan made
We
that.
could, yeah, or we could also just call it what we wanted to call it. We can, for $10,000 a month, and because we're just screwed in, and this is a new world, we'll just call that tier the new Jew tier. We're the new Jews. We are the new Jews.
We are the new Jews.
I mean, we
Yeah.
said the Chinese are the
Yeah.
new Jews, and it was a joke, and it's at patreon.com/historyhyenas, but it's fun, and we got a picture of Rosario Dawson on the board right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, cuz that is amazing.
She's for Alexandria.
She is for, so that's even higher than for Rome is for Alexandria?
I think it's same tier. Alexandria, famous city, famous library
Right.
that Julius Caesar burned down. Alexandria was founded by Alexander the Great and became a cultural center, and he conquered it. And
Now, cuz, are those real or are those natties?
those are natties.
Those are
natties.
Those are not fakes. Those are
Those
natties.
are hard to take, dude.
That's hard
This
to
is hard
take.
to take.
Do you think Colin Farrell in this type of sex scene absolutely has to get wood? There's no way you can't get wood.
I don't know. Is it easy to get wood when there's a grip over when there's a microphone over your head?
When there's lighting.
I don't know.
Make no
I feel like a kid like you would like it.
I would like it because I would.
I feel like if you were alone in the room with Rosario Dawson, you wouldn't be able to get wood. You'd have to tell her you got to suck it a little bit, babe, just to get hard, babe.
Yeah.
But if there was a lot of guys in the room,
there's a lot of guys who make no mistake. I'd have a Woodrow Wilson immediately.
because I think you'd go pure, very easy.
I mean, these boobies are very, very, very hard to take. I don't know if posting a picture of this will get demonetized, but we will throw up a photo at patreon.com/historyhyenas of these natties, even though they are public available online. We could get demonetized, but then again, I don't know because it is now Trump's America.
Yeah.
So things are different. The hosts of MSNBC, Joe Scarborough and that other lesbian, they had a meeting with Donald Trump 2 days ago, and they talked about, it's all over the news right now, they talked about cleaning the slate and just let's try to be all in this together. So make no mistake, Donnie T is coming out there and trying to unite.
He's trying to unite the country, and also I think RFK Jr. is really working with dentists right now to make a little money on the side. Because once they pull that fluoride out of the water, I think we're just going to look like, it's just going to look like we're England.
It's bad.
I think people's teeth are just going to fall apart.
They're going to get knocked out.
You can't trust people to brush their teeth twice a day.
Yeah.
Are you a twice a day kind of kid?
What I am, so I'm a twice a day kid in the morning and at night, and now as of late, because my daughter has told me I need to do this, I'm a flosser.
You floss.
I'm a flosser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a water pick guy, but now I'm a flosser.
Yeah, I don't floss. I brush twice a day. I try, and that's about it. But I have noticed since I've not been exposed to New York City water.
Right.
I mean, I don't think they have this problem in Smithtown.
No.
Because I think Smithtown's got good fluoridated water.
Wait, water. By the way, I want to shout out.
Shout out Smithtown water.
Shout out Smithtown water. I want to also shout out the fan who came to my show in Salt Lake City, Utah this weekend, and Wise Guys, who all of a sudden the waitress came up with a tray full of 5 waters, and they said, and the guy in the background said, "Those are some waters for you," and they just brought me up some waters, and that was a funny, good bit to just put 5 bottles of water on the stage.
Yeah, because I apologize to anyone who bought tickets in St. Louis. It wasn't my fault. That's all I'm going to say.
It's what it is, cuz.
Mistakes were made that had nothing to do with me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean,
One of the funniest stories ever. Yeah.
Yanni was supposed to be in St. Louis, and then it didn't happen. I mean, I literally texted him.
I was steps away from getting on the plane.
I said, "How's St. Louis this weekend?" He said, I'm actually hiking in New York." And I was like, wow. But we will tell that story and name names at patreon.com/historyhyenas.
Yeah, we'll do it on Patreon.
But I do, it's Alexander the Great, and this is This is what I love about doing the show too. Is I know a little bit about Alexander the Great.
What do you know about Alexander the Great?
So what I know about Alexander the Great is that, he's conquered. He literally took over. I think he was the greatest conqueror of all time, meaning geographically, he was able to take over the most land of any other conqueror in history. I think it's him and Genghis Khan, I think. But Alexander the Great, but I know that the main thing I know about him is that he did it all wearing a toga, and he did it all balls out. And here's what I do know. Here's what I'm going to say to you right now. You believe everything you're reading about Alexander the Great, right?
I do know that if we were around back then and we were doing a podcast back then, we would have called Alexander the Great sand blower.
It's probably what it would be called.
Because the kid went out there and he really cleaned up the sand.
He cleaned up the sand. Yes, he liked conquering people of the sand.
He was a real sand sweeper.
He was a sand sweeper.
Yeah. He went over there and he just conquered the sand.
It's what it is. Alexander the Great. You believe everything you read about. Jesse's pulled up Alexander the Great Wikipedia, and we all believe it, right? But then let me just make this point. We all believe everything we're reading about Alexander the Great.
Right.
But you would say if I brought up something about Jesus Christ,
here we go. Jesus Christ.
If you brought up something about Jesus Christ, you would tell me that maybe what I'm reading could be a lie, could be a fable. Well, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. As I read about in The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel, which I think everyone should go out there and get and walk around with at all times. Case for Christ is Alexander the Great's biographers wrote about Alexander the Great upwards of 200 years after his death. Jesus Christ biographers wrote about his life within 20 years of his death. So just take that home
I think it was
with you.
a couple hundred years after his death.
Well, no, Alexander the Great was a couple hundred years.
A couple hundred after Jesus.
No, because
Look it up, Jesse.
here's the thing. Look up Case for Christ. It wasn't 200 years because they started writing about him. The Gospels got published 200-300 years after, but the writing from it was within 20 to 30 years. They started writing it, and then what they would do back then is everyone says game of telephone. Everyone talks about, but there's a game of telephone. I could tell you something, and then by the time it gets handed back, by the time it goes
25 years. We're within 25 years.
Within 25 years. This is why Jesus lives within all of us. This is why Jesus does exist. And this is why I encourage you to go get the Case for Christ and to read about Jesus and love Jesus. He is the one true Savior. And make no mistake, in this battle of the Crusades, he's going to fucking...
Whoa! Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can't say that, right?
No, listen.
No, you can't say...
Postseason is back, baby, and look.
Yeah, no, you can't say that because
we've rebuilt the team.
Yeah.
We've rebuilt the team.
Yeah.
And we're going for another chip.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding around. We can't disparage. Just make no mistake. Get mad at that.
No, just
can't say it. I'm just messing around. We'll put that part on Patreon.
I need 15 hyenas roaming the Serengeti, cackling like crazy over Chrissy's face over that whole part.
Yeah, it's what it is. But make no mistake, Jesus Christ is real and he's within us all.
But most of the Bible was written at the Council of Nicaea
325 AD
by a bunch of Roman pedophiles.
Constantinople, yeah, it's what it is. It's what it is. They didn't clip me though.
No, they didn't.
No matter what,
you got nicked.
I got nicked.
You did get nicked,
just like a certain family member.
Yeah. So what happens is,
which, by the way, I spoke to him. I'm not going to say I spoke to him. He told me that if we do a live show, that he will come and he will do a performance.
Are you serious?
I swear to God. And I told him.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you it right now.
Do you understand that would I wouldn't be able to handle that.
Okay, hold on.
I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Jesse, make sure you do.
I can't handle how funny it is.
I'm going to tell you right now in real time what I spoke to and what I said. All of this right now is at patreon.com/historyhyenas. So just put this part right there because I cannot give this away to YouTube. And we're back. So now we're finally back at the YouTube, folks.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We have to just go a little detour. We went wild at patreon.com/historyhyenas and we went kind of nuts, but now we're back and we're back. We're focused. We're talking about Alexander the Great and how the kid had a big ego.
Yeah.
But how, and that's what really fuels all wars. That's what being a human is. It's like, can you use your ego for good or bad?
Yeah.
And your ego, if you let it start to get the best to you, you said something before the pod started. You said if you worry about your outcome, and that's what I've been preaching. It's about your effort, not your outcome.
You have to enjoy the process.
Control your output, not your outcome. That's out of control.
And you have to enjoy your output. You have to enjoy it. You have to enjoy the process. That's where happiness comes. Happiness comes from enjoying the process, not worrying about the outcome. If you're enjoying what you're doing, it doesn't matter what the outcome is. You got to enjoy it. You got to have a good time. You're here to have a good time, and you have to let your ego disappear over the horizon and understand that life is suffering. We're going to die, but that's a freeing realization because what you realize when you accept that with radical acceptance is that it's not all about you, and that ironically, in some oxymoronic way, frees you up from worry.
Yes,
because it makes you realize that you are part of something greater. So even though your ego is not real, you are part of something greater. You are great only because you're part of Jesus Christ's spleen.
That's what I told you.
Yeah.
That's what the common theme when people do ayahuasca, okay? Everyone from, Mark Cuban and billionaires to my stepson's father. Everyone who does ayahuasca says the same thing, that what the main thing you realize here, and this is just what they say, I've never done it, but we will do it together. You and I will do it together. I've never done it yet. But what the main thing they say, and this is it's all over online, it's the same common theme, that they realize that we are all connected. We are all one. I'm you, you're me, we're all the universe. It's all from the same thing. We're all connected. And what life really is about, and what happiness really is about in life, is helping others, helping your fellow man and woman. That's what you're supposed to do. That's what life is. So the more money that you make is a beautiful thing, but really why it's beautiful is because you can help you and your family, but you can also help others with it. So that's what all connects.
And that's occasionally do something for yourself nice, like have a spa day, a little massage, or a black and white cookie, or maybe a slice of pizza, or maybe a souvlaki for the table.
It's what it is, or souvlaki for the table, and you just kind of live life and you have fun, and
or go out and just conquer every place in Persia and try to go to India and have your troops say we're done. His troops just said,
"Tell us about it."
Yeah, so his troops just said, "We've had enough, dog. We've been on the road for 8 years." Remember, Führer just means leader in German.
That's all it means.
That's it. We learned that when we were in Munich and we were on that tour. He said, back then Führer, they just called him mein Führer because it means my leader.
Yeah, it was.
So I'm just saying leader in German.
That's all it is.
Yeah, I'm not referring to Hitler. The meme we're going to put up on Patreon. All right, yeah.
The meme we're going to put up at Patreon.com/History Hyenas is referring to Hitler. and you fucking, here's the thing, okay?
Yeah.
With the hyena fan, you little fuckers.
Yeah.
If you guys ever repost this anywhere else, then we can't act like that again.
Yeah.
So just it's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to you to just keep that content there where we allow us to go wild. And it is up to you, if you see it out there, to rat out your brother, your sister, and let us know, and then we will handle them.
Yes.
Okay, so we are encouraging you, if you see people out there reposting the content, you let us know, and then we'll go find them.
Yeah, we're trying to just have some fun here is what we're trying to do.
It's what it is.
It's too funny to show.
I'm asking you people to be the Gestapo.
Yeah. Watch each other.
Yeah, it's what it is. Watch it out, and then if you see it, people acting like who's, you fucking let us know.
So yeah, his troops just said, mein Führer, we've had enough. But they said it in Greek, and they said, we've had enough, dude. We haven't been home in 8 years.
Right.
And then he makes this famous speech.
Alexander the Great
It's
does.
the craziest speech. I don't know if we want to put it on the podcast. It's a couple minutes long, but it's nuts.
I think so.
It's fucking nuts, dude.
I love a speech like that, like an inspirational speech, while the Greek soldiers are just sitting there listening. They're just kind of covered in olive oil. Did they bang? Was this group of Greeks? Did they also bang each other out? Was the Alexander the Great Greeks? Were they the ones who also, like that sacred band of Thebes, said that they would have sex with each other the night before battle? So they would they would make them stronger men, but they were just really gay kids that were trying to be not gay.
Yeah. So you had Athens, you had Sparta, you had Thebes, right? Thebes, and they were the three city states that were powerful. They always fought each other because Greeks just like when they won the World Cup, they need a German to unify them. Without a German unifying, because the World Cup team had a German coach and they won the World Cup. It was one of the biggest upsets in sports history. It was because they had a German coach.
Okay.
When you don't have a German organizing the Greeks just like to infight, and that's just what they do, and that's why the Greeks never had a civilization or an empire before Alexander the Great, because they were just fighting with each other. So the Sacred Band of Thebes comes from that city-state, and it worked. It was just like a bunch of soldiers that banged each other out and were in love with each other.
That's what it is.
They called each other afterwards.
And they would call, and they
loved each other.
And they said, because their main thing was, we can only protect each other in battle. I can only protect you if I'm in love with you. Yeah. So they were of the city states. So they were the San Francisco of the city states.
They were
they were the gay section of the city states.
Technically, all the city states were the San Francisco by today's standards, because everyone was banging dudes out.
It's what it is.
It wasn't thought of as homosexuality back then.
You were just being a guy.
It was thought of as stress release.
Yes, it's just what it is. You kind of just you just put it in somebody's Buttigieg.
You had options back then. Look, there was a lot of muff back then, so I think that had a lot to do with it. I think guys just, there was fumes, there was muff, and so guys did what they needed to do for procreation, but they didn't have to stick around and listen to their wives telling them what they do.
It's what it is.
They had options. There was a lot on the menu.
Right.
There was other things on the menu, right? The pizza was the women, and then there was the other side of the pizza menu, which had eunuchs, had guys, had trans.
And let's make no mistake, because it was a different world, and sometimes
boys.
I was going to say, because sometimes a boy soldier was just for the table.
Sometimes you just in the middle there was just a boy for the table.
It's what it is, cuz the kid would just get banged out, and it's just the way the cookie crumbled. And that, my friends, is what we call Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
A Truth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah. So here's the
What do we got? Let's do the speech.
The speech is nuts. You're gonna get chills from this speech.
Are we going to get demonetized for the speech?
No.
Okay.
You're gonna hear this speech on Flagrant 2. When he's talking to his guys. What it is. He's going, guys, sit down. We need to talk.
Yeah. And then at the end, he's probably going to call it a Truth Bader Ginsburg. Say he made it up. Okay, right now it's just a long intro. I mean, he might have downloaded the wrong one. Let's be honest.
Stop you returning home.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
This is the problem. Come on. Everything took. This was before the internet, where everyone was aware of how good a dramatic build was.
Yeah.
But we're not there anymore.
Yeah.
So Alex, speak.
Yeah.
Alare.
To say isn't meant to stop you returning home. As far as I care, you can go wherever you wish. But I want you to know how you have behaved towards me, and how I have treated you. I'll begin, as is right, with my father, Philip. When he found you, you were mere peasants, wearing hides, tending a few sheep on the mountain slopes, and you could barely defend them from your neighbors.
It gets good.
Under him, you began living in cities, with good laws and customs, and he turned you from slaves into rulers over those very barbarians who used to plunder your land. He conquered most of Thrace, taking the best harbors so there was trade and prosperity, and put the mines to steady work. The Thessalians, they used to terrify you. Well, we rule them now. The Athenians and Thebans, always looking for a chance to attack Macedonia, were so humbled, myself playing my small part in the war, that they no longer take tribute from Macedonia.
Yeah, they used to
But
fuck with
instead
it. Now we
depend
fucked
upon
them.
us for their protection. My father went to the Peloponnese and put their house in order. Then he was declared supreme commander of all the Greeks for the campaign against the Persians. An honor not just for himself, but for all Macedonians. This is what my father Philip did for you. Great enough on its own, but small compared to what you've gained from me. I crossed the Hellespont, even though back then the Persians still commanded the sea. I defeated the satraps of the great King Darius.
You call them the sand traps?
And made
said
you
sand
rulers
traps.
of
Yeah.
Ionia, Aeolus, Phrygia, and Lydia, and took Miletus by siege. The rest of the land surrendered willingly, and their wealth became yours. All the riches of Egypt and Cyrene, which I won without a fight, are yours now. Syria, Palestine, Mesopotamia, Babylonia,
They were the
all
original
belong to
Jews.
you.
They were,
took
right?
Palestine.
The wealth of Lydia, the treasures of Persia, the jewels of India and the outer sea.
It wasn't called Palestine though.
You are now satraps.
So this is a
You are
YouTube video.
generals
Yeah.
and captains.
I think it was
What
called
have
the
I held
Sandlot.
back for
Yeah.
myself apart from this purple cloak and
Yeah.
diadem? Nothing. No man can point to my riches, only the things I hold in trust for you all. And what would I do with them anyway? I eat what you eat. I get no more rest than you. Many times I have spent the night on watch so that you could sleep soundly. Who among you believes he's worked harder for me than I have for him?
This is Michael Jordan
Come
talking
on.
to the Bulls.
Yeah.
If you've got scars, strip and show them to me.
This is Schultz
I'll
talking
show
to his
you
staff.
mine.
It's what it is.
There isn't
Yeah.
one part of my body, the front at least, that doesn't bear a wound. My body's covered in scars from every
This
weapon
is
you
Trump
can
talking to
think
his
of.
cabinet.
It's what it is.
Swords,
Yeah.
arrows, stones, clubs. All for the sake of your lives, your glory, and your wealth. And yet here I still am, leading you, as conqueror of land and sea, rivers, mountains, and the plains. We've celebrated our weddings together. Many of your children will be cousins of my own.
We're all banging.
Yeah,
I paid off your debts without asking how you got them, even though you're paid well enough and
sounds
pillage
like a
every
great
city
guy.
we take.
Yeah.
Many of you wear golden crowns, badges of courage and honor given you by me. Any one of us who was killed, who met a glorious end, we buried with full honors. Many now stand immortalized by bronze statues in Macedonia. Their families are honored and pay no taxes.
Nice.
That is nice.
Republican administration.
Yeah, no taxes. I like
Has
that.
been killed fleeing the enemy.
Yeah.
In Macedonia.
And now I wanted to send back some of you who've been wounded or crippled,
This is great, guys.
who have grown old, to be welcomed back home as heroes. But since you all wish to go, then all of you, go! Go home and tell them that your king, Alexander, conqueror of the Persians, Medes, Bactrians, and Scythians, who now rules over the Parthians, Chorasmians, and Hyrcanians as far as the Caspian Sea, who's marched over the mountains of the Hindu Kush, crossed the Oxus and
Good weed,
Tanais
Kush.
rivers,
Yeah.
even the Indus, first to cross it since Dionysus himself. I would have crossed the Hyphasis too if you hadn't cowered in fear. Who sailed into the Great Sea from the mouth of the Indus. Who crossed the desert of Gadrosia, where no one had ever led an army. Who took Carmenia, while my fleet sailed the Persian Gulf. When you get home, you tell them that when you made it back to Susa, you abandoned him and went home, leaving him under the protection of the foreigners you'd conquered. Perhaps this report of yours will seem glorious in the eyes of men and worthy in the eyes of the gods. Be gone!
Wow. Did they leave?
No, then they kept fighting.
Yeah, exactly.
And then eventually they turned around because they said we had enough, Alexander. But then
And he
they
got killed, right?
They got conquered. They conquered more stuff on the way back.
Right.
The kid is the Floyd Mayweather
Yeah.
of conquerors. He lost no battles. He's undefeated.
Undefeated.
Kid's 50-0.
Kid 50, but
And then he did a charity fight against a fucking Eastern Hemi. He was a lot smaller and made $1 million in Japan.
What it is.
Yeah.
And he did all this stuff. I think the kid was in his 30s.
He died
doing all
at
this.
32.
He died at 32.
He
So
died
that
at
means he's
32.
making a speech like that at 28, 29.
Yeah, he made a speech like that.
Yeah, and I was still sleeping in my mom's house in my childhood bedroom, scared of ghosts and scared to sleep with the light off.
Yeah.
And Alexander the Great was just a different guy.
Yeah, he was a different guy. He was an interesting guy. He was born in Macedonia.
What is Macedonia?
So this is a very controversial thing
Okay.
for Greeks and for Macedonians.
Tell me.
So since I'm Greek, I'm going to say for the Greeks, Macedonia is Greek. And for the Macedonians, I'm going to say Macedonia was Macedonia.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But they were Greek culturally. They were Greek. But it was sort of like thought of as like the backwoods of Greece, right? So you had the major city states of, like we said, Thebes,
Right.
Sparta,
Right.
and Athens. And at the time, those three were kind of running on fumes. Not our type of fumes, but just like they had more of a
Would
golden
you say
era.
that the Greeks looked at Macedonia as an island of garbage?
They kind of looked at it. They kind of looked at it like an island of garbage.
That's what it is.
Yeah, and then
Make no mistake. So if I was alive back then, I'd be trying to bang out the Macedonians.
you'd be trying to
that's
get
what
up-
I like.
Yeah, you'd be doing that, and that's just what it is.
That's what it is.
There'd be migrants from Macedonia
Got it.
sneaking into Athens to work.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and taking over complexes in Aurora, Greece.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah.
it'd be something like that. But
Got
according to Dan Soder, that's not happening.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
But so that's what it was at the time. Yes, that's really an apt example. So then Philip II comes along, and he's just a beast.
Philip II is after Alexander the Great?
No, Philip II is his father.
Okay, Philip II is Alexander the Great's father is Philip II.
Philip II, right? So King Philip, he's an ill dude, and he just turns Macedonia into a powerhouse.
Yeah.
And they're Greek. They speak Greek. They got all the cultural Greek stuff, just like the Romans. Basically, the old expression, Rome conquered Greece, but Greece conquered Rome, because it's Greek culture. We're still living with it. We're the greatest. Anyway, that aside.
That's what it is.
So,
by the way, all this is being told, even that speech, it was with 300 years after his death. If you want the real truth, go turn to Jesus Christ. 20 years after his death, the Bible was written. Those are the true words.
Yeah. So he turns it into a powerhouse. He goes and conquers Greece and unites Greece. Philip.
Okay.
He goes down there and he beats them up. He doesn't even fucking really bother with Sparta too much, because they were too broken down by that point.
They weren't the fierce fighting, like they
No.
weren't the Spartans from the 300.
No.
That was years ago.
Yeah, they were just, so he conquers Athens, he conquers Thebes, he conquers Greece, unifies Greece. I think he leaves Sparta a little bit, but kind of, he doesn't even care.
They're done.
Yeah, and then there's an assassination attempt over Philip. And then he gets killed by one of his own bodyguards.
Philip does.
Because, there's infighting like we have. There's infighting. Oh, he's overextending. Oh, his taxes are too high.
Yeah.
I hate this guy. What about these people? What about the able-bodied people? What about DEI? All that stuff was probably happening back then too. And
Right.
like, Philip is too much of an authoritarian, whatever.
Yeah.
So his bodyguard kills him. And then Alex takes command. Now, Alex was a fucking he was a precocious kid from the get-go.
So
From the get-go.
because he was raised wealthy, this kid, right?
This kid was raised wealthy, but he was just kind of a beast, dude. He was just kind of born.
What does precocious mean?
Precocious means he was just smart early. He was tutored from when he was 13 years old. His father went and got Aristotle.
Yeah.
He went and kidnapped. I think he probably just kidnapped Aristotle.
So Aristotle was trained by Alexander the Great. Aristotle trained Alexander the Great.
Yeah, he was his tutor. He was his personal tutor.
That's wild.
That's wild.
So that's like Elon Musk being your personal tutor.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. So Aristotle was.
Did Lex Friedman ever text you back about the pod?
He did it.
Okay.
And I
we're
thought
trying
we were
to get on
friends.
Lex Friedman's pod.
Yeah, I thought we were friends, but you can't trust those.
What it is, but we did get on Joey Rogan.
Way shot chins and cackles
Way shot
everywhere.
chins,
Yeah.
and that's a lat of 14.
That was
that's
a
the
character
definition
piece.
of a
Yeah,
lat of
it's
14. It's just
character piece.
character piece. We're messing around. It's character piece. We're training with our acting.
Yeah, we just do it. We want to put a play on for the boys at the fucking at the
firehouse.
At the firehouse. Yeah. So that's all we do. We're doing a little play night. So most of the times there's no fires.
Yeah, it's
so
just
a lot
what
of they
it
don't
is.
know. We sit around. We play around with different dishes.
Play it around.
Yeah, we do dishes. We learn how to cook. We play Wordle.
Yeah,
we do that.
It's what it is.
Yeah.
We're actually.
Because on the off nights at the firehouse, they probably play Django.
Yeah.
They play, what is that thing where you pull the wood block out? What's that game called?
Jenga.
They play Jenga.
I think Django is
Yeah,
jeans.
they play a little Sorry.
Yeah.
Those are jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah, they play around with dishes. We watch movies. We did all of the second season of Yellowstone together.
It's what it is, because
Yeah.
we're going to do it, and then we're going to do a nice little play where we're actually going to honor our friends, our Jewish friends. We're going to do we're going to do a musical where they skate around. We call it Frisbees on Ice.
Way shot chin.
And it's a good positive play.
Yeah, it's a positive
good
play.
thing for
Yeah.
our community.
Yeah, it's
and
a
we're
little
going to charge you
play.
$20.
Yeah, we're doing skits over there now.
Yeah, we're doing skits, and it's good, and it's fun. And it's fun, guys.
Yeah, it's a fun thing over there.
Yeah, and we even told our boys in the firehouse. We even told them that they could even go into fires now that had that vote. If we used to tell them if they voted for Kamala, they can't go into that house to put out the fire. But now we told them they could put out the fire.
Jesse really liked Frisbees on Ice.
Jesse's
yeah.
like Frisbees on Ice, cuz maybe we'll make that a T-shirt.
So Alexander the Great, tutored by Aristotle,
Which is sick.
Yeah.
I mean, think about what a smart. And now we're talking about he's a teenage kid getting tutored by Aristotle.
He's a young teenage kid getting tutored, and he was a good soldier. He was strong from when he was young. And so there was this horse that his father had in his stable that nobody could tame. Nobody could tame this horse. Now, Alexander the Great loved this horse, dog. And this is the horse that he used his whole life to dust up the sand.
That's what it is. Yeah.
So this it was, how do you pronounce that? Boscalis?
Bucephalus.
Bucephalus. So he tamed this wild horse that nobody could tame. And supposedly when he did that, his father was so impressed, his father sat him down and said, "Son, Macedonia is not big enough for your ambition. You're a special kid.
Yeah.
You're a special kid, and you're going to do great things.
Yeah.
And so he rode that horse all the way through the desert. And
make no mistake, he was riding that horse past the horse judges, and my Uncle Russ was there going, that horse has got a nice cobby body.
he's got a cobby body, and this is my first place horse.
Yes.
Yes. This is so, and that's the horse that he used the whole way to conquer. So then his dad always had plans to conquer Persia, because Persia was always Greece's enemy. They were always screwing with Greece. You know, the movie Sparta, they always were screwing with Greece, but the Greeks never fell to the Persians. We always fought back.
Right.
We always won. So the goal, once Macedonia got strong, was that we're going into Persia and we're taking out Darius. Here's the funny thing. I always thought it was Darius,
That's
but
what
you
I
pronounce it Darius or something. Just like
Darius.
Kamala. People say it's not Kamala. It's, how do you pronounce it?
Kamala.
Kamala, but I always call her
it's Kamala. It's Kamala, and a lot of people say Kamala.
No, it's
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. No, it's
Kamala.
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 But a lot of people say Kamala.
Right.
Kamala. Or a lot
Kamala.
of people say Kamala.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to call her Kamala, and people get mad at me.
Right.
But it's Kamala Harris.
It's Kamala. Right.
Same thing. I thought it was Darius, but it's pronounced another way.
And that Darius is the one who, in the movie 300,
Yeah.
that Darius and his Persian army,
Yeah.
that's who they're fighting against. Okay.
So Darius was like the supreme leader of Persia. So Alexander just develops this reputation of just mowing shit down.
Yeah.
Because they got these long spears, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of historians can't agree on whether it was more the spears or it was Alexander's military prowess. If you ask Julius Caesar and you ask Napoleon, they'll say Alexander's military prowess. Because make no mistake, Napoleon, the only reason why he went and conquered Egypt is because Alexander did it.
Right.
There was no strategic. They idolized Alexander the Great.
Right.
Napoleon idolized him. Julius Caesar idolized him. And so he's mostly considered, by most historians, he's considered to be a military genius.
Genius, right.
So the kid was just mowing shit down. Floyd Mayweather style, Michael Jordan 6 championships in a row, yelling at his guys.
Yes.
He's doing it.
Lance Armstrong winning everything with one ball.
Yeah, he's doing it with one ball, maybe a little steroids. Maybe the kid did a
What it
couple of
is,
cycles
get a
of
little juice
windstroke.
in there.
We don't know. But
'Cause-
this kid was fucking motivated.
Because, can I just, real quick, don't you think at this point now, Netflix did the live show, the live fight with Tyson and Jake Paul, whatever you thought about is fine. Shouldn't baseball or sports start doing that? Have a live home run derby where you let the guys go on steroids for a year and then you give them an aluminum bat and you let them hit 900-foot home runs live on Netflix.
Absolutely. And
Let's do that.
And I think what also baseball should do, because it needs a little help during the regular season, is just have a couple of blind guys with guns.
Yes.
Just shooting onto the field during the game.
Yeah.
Just they're blind,
Just
but they
do
got
it,
guns
yeah.
and they're just shooting. It makes some movement happen.
I mean, the kid Shohei Ohtani, that
Yeah.
kid is good.
He's an Eastern Hemi who's good.
He's an Eastern, he's a Japanese kid. I mean, he was hitting home runs where even World War II veterans are clapping for him.
Wei Song Xian.
yeah.
It's what it is.
How good he is.
Because when you get a fucking D-Day guy that's clapping for Shohei, that's a big deal,
That's
no?
a big, huge deal.
Yeah.
He's a Korean kid, right?
No, he's a Japanese
he's a
kid.
Japanese
So
kid,
he's-
right?
I mean,
right.
he's the
yeah,
enemy.
yeah.
To a lot of these guys.
To a lot of people in their 90s,
And
yeah.
they're clapping for him.
Late
Well,
90s, yeah.
Well, he's a Japanese kid,
Yeah.
but a lot of people say because of how good he is in baseball, they think he must be Korean.
Well, because maybe the radioactive helped.
It could have. He got supercharged. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe the radiation did something special.
Yeah. It could.
I'm not saying I'm no expert. I'm not
We're
a
not-
scientist.
we're not even being mean.
But I
We're
mean,
just
how
saying-
could he be that good?
'Cause it
he's
could-
Babe Ruth good. How could he be that good? He's just as good a pitcher as he is a home run hitter.
Right.
Maybe it's radiation. Maybe it's like Godzilla stuff.
It could have been. It could have been. It could be supercharged.
It's a character piece, ladder 14. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're on the ice.
Yeah, we
and
were skating
sometimes-
around.
Sometimes we're in deep waters.
Yeah,
we're in deep waters.
Because I'm trying to swim back because I'm in deep
I
water.
want to get back on the ice.
Yeah, because make no mistake, I have a Zoom call today, the very first Zoom call of the executives from the ABC deal I just closed. I'm just going to have to tell them to not listen to this podcast. They're just going to say, is there anything we need to tell? I'm going to say, no, everything's fine. Just don't listen to History Hyenas.
yeah. So
Alexander the Great.
So then he gets obsessed.
Philip II's son.
So he gets obsessed with killing Darius, which is pronounced another way. I don't remember.
Yeah.
So he gets obsessed. And
Yeah.
He's like, I want to kill this dude. I want to kill him myself. I want to kill him. So he's mowing down parts of the Persian Empire, winning battle after battle.
Looking for Darius.
Looking for
That's
Darius,
sick.
dude. He's hunting for the dude.
Right.
Darius at some point gets word of how like ill these guys are with these long spears that Philip, his father, created. These long spears.
So what
that
is?
are-
Explain the long
just
spear.
a longer spear
That they would throw,
Yeah,
or
it's
they would
called
like-
something. I don't know. They'd throw them. They would stab you with it. Whatever it is. They had a special formation they used. They used Greek soldiers. They used mercenaries. They were just. It was just the way he motivated his soldiers. He was a wrecking ball.
They were a professional army.
It was a professional army, a wrecking ball.
Right.
Just the way he led them. And supposedly, he was in the front, dude. He would lead. That's
dope.
what they say. I used to have a joke about that going, I don't believe that because, like, nobody lives in the front, cuz.
No.
Like, does anyone, it's always like, the leader's always in the back on a horse, like looking, going, like,
Yeah.
is it bad up there?
Yeah.
Because, nobody comes back with a sprained ankle from the front. The
No,
guys
you're
in the
gonna
front
get killed.
die. But supposedly he led them.
So, but it could have been that he was telling these guys,
Could have been
right
telling-
about me.
Right.
There's no video evidence.
Right. He could have been pulling. Yeah, he could have been making a false controversy up.
Yeah, he could have been doing that. We know a couple of guys who do that. He could have just been making shit up.
He could have been
But
marketing a little bit.
But he's a dope. But hey, marketing works, and make no
works.
mistake, this is show business.
It's show business.
Business. There's a business.
There's a
to it,
business to
Okay,
this
so
whole thing.
it's just a business. Just like Alexander the Great, he knew it was a business.
It's a
He knew it
business.
was a business, and he knew that he would have to maybe create some controversy that where or not, he was going to have to create some controversies that may or may not have happened, and then if shit hit the fan, he was just going to have to pin it on the Indian kid. That's
Wei Song Xian.
But supposedly most historians say he was that type of guy because he did get injured a
believe
lot.
it.
But maybe, his scribes wrote it down, right? Whoever wrote it down, we don't know. But
Yeah.
suppose he was in the front. Maybe that's. And
I mean, that speech we listened to, somebody had to be scribing that down. But how did they write that quick if they were chiseling into the concrete? You don't know.
You don't know what he said, but it was a great speech, though.
It was,
wasn't
dude, a fantastic speech. I'm
Yeah.
gonna sit the kids down and fucking say
Listen
it.
to this.
Look at
Yeah.
all the shit you
Yeah,
have.
Look at what I've done for you.
Look at what I've done for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're going to do this to me. So the kid Darius just finally gets a little scared. This is the great Persian Empire, right? And he just hears about this kid, this wild Macedonian who's just mowing things down, and he gets scared. And he's like, yo, cut a deal with this kid.
Right.
Give him part of the Persian Empire.
Yeah.
He's basically a Hollywood exec going, here's a lot of riches.
Yes.
Here's some of the land.
Yeah.
Just please. At this point, when the letter came, Darius used to talk like this, like that. And then when he wrote the letter, he said, "Hi, my name's Darius.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't really aware of who you were.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're doing a pretty good job out there. And I just think we can live in peace now.
Yeah.
We can live in peace.
We love it. Yeah.
Would you like a lot of money? Here's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Here's
love it.
Riches.
Listen, you're kind of getting out of control. You're saying a lot of things. We can't really control you. So I just want to give you $100 million. I work for Spotify.
Yeah,
That's what
they
it is.
basically just threw. But he said he had a message sent to Alexander. Here's $100 million.
Yes.
Here's your own show. Just please. Here's part of the empire. Take what you've already taken
Yeah.
and just leave us.
Yeah.
Alexander, who's just a nut. He's a Kobe Bryant nut.
Yeah.
Goes no.
Yeah.
He goes no. I'm not doing this for the money, for the riches. I'm doing this for the glory of Greece.
Yeah.
I want your ass.
Yeah.
And I want to do it. And he sends the message, I want it. If anyone kills him and it's not me, there's a problem.
Yeah.
So he keeps conquering, keeps chasing this kid, and Darius is just running. He's running like a ballet. He's just
Yeah.
fucking running
Yeah,
at
he's
this
like,
point.
"No!"
He's get away.
Yeah.
So finally, this guy Bessie or whatever, this other cat,
Okay.
says maybe if I kill Darius, it'll stop, and we just stop this kid
Because
it kills
Alexander the
Saul.
Great, because they're feeling, the Greek soldiers are feeling on this quest to kill Darius, we're all going to die too.
No. This was the Persian cat, Bessie.
Oh, Bessie's the Persian cat.
I think his name is Bessie. I think it was
Bessie?
Leon Messi.
Leon
Leo
Messi,
It was
yeah.
Messi, the great
Yeah.
football. But just
Yeah.
to find out his name, I think his
Yes.
name's Bessie or Bessie or
His
something.
name's Rami.
His name's Rami. Rami Youssef.
Yeah,
So,
Rami Bessie Youssef. Shout out Rami, great
Rami.
show. I love Rami show on Hulu.
Great actor,
Great
too.
show. You ever seen Rami's episode on Hulu about 9/11?
No.
One of the best episodes in
He admitted
television
he
history.
did it?
Yeah, go watch
Wei
it.
Song
Go watch it.
Xian.
It's a great episode.
Okay, yeah. So this guy Bessie or Bessie or whatever kills Darius
Yeah.
and sends or puts him in chains or whatever. Sends the body and goes, look, it's
Wait,
over.
Bessie kills Darius?
Yeah, he does it himself because he goes, maybe this will stop this kid.
Yeah.
This kid's a fucking maniac and he's winning.
Right.
And we can't stop
How
him.
does he kill him? Do we know?
I don't know. I can't remember how we know. Maybe we can look it up. So he kills Darius, and Alexander the Great gets so mad, he goes and finds Bessie and kills Bessie for killing Darius.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, that's not what I wanted. I said I wanted to kill the kid myself.
Kid's obsessed.
Yeah, so at
Little
that
Franks and beans. It's because he's Greek.
He's Greek.
Because he's a little inbred.
He's a little
inbred. He's a little inbred. Greeks are a little inbred.
Yeah. So
yeah, because the reason why your eyes are so close is because your parents were so close because they were cousins.
that's what happens
what it
when
is.
cousins from an island bang out.
That's what it is.
It's thank God I got a little Turk in me to just or else I think I would have one eye.
You would have one eye.
I
yes,
think the only reason I
100%.
got two eyes is because a little Turk genes got in there and just
what it
separated
is.
the eyes a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
what happened. So his name was Bessus.
Right.
His name was Bessus.
Right.
So and he was
Bessus, a
Bessus
relative,
killed Darius.
Bessus kills Darius III. He assassinated Darius in 330 BC, and then Alexander the Great got so mad he killed Bessus.
He killed
Bessus.
Bessus.
Thought he was doing a favor.
He thought he was doing a favor and stopping this, going like they were trying to stop the kid because the kid was just he was
Out of control.
He was like a choo-choo train. He wouldn't stop.
Wouldn't stop.
And he didn't lose. They just kept winning and winning and winning. And so the Persians are going like, we're the mighty Persians.
Yeah.
Like they were scared of him. Like, how's he doing?
So
this?
at this time in history, were the Persians number one and the Greeks number
were
two?
number one.
The Persians were the leader. The
They were
Persians were the
number one.
United States.
They were the number one.
Got
They had the
Greeks were the
science,
Chinese.
math.
They're coming.
They're the Chinese, and they were
They're
coming.
coming.
They were the underdog. They were coming. They
Yeah.
were the Oklahoma.
Yeah, Taiwan was
OKC.
Macedonia.
Yeah, they were OKC right now. They're just coming.
They're coming,
They're
yeah.
a young team. They're coming, and he got so mad he went and killed him. He had him tortured. He didn't only
What did he do?
execute
Do we
him,
know
had
what he did to
tortured.
him?
I don't know.
He had the kid
His
tortured.
asshole was probably used.
It's 100%
Yeah,
his
because
asshole
the
was used.
Greeks, I'm sure when the Greeks did torture, they incorporated the asshole in
and
some
make
way.
no
It's a
mistake,
little bit of ass
with
play.
the Greek torture, no matter what you do, you know that there's going to be honey involved. So I would assume that they poured honey and olive oil over him, and they just let the scorpions eat him.
Yeah, they
That's
did.
what it is. But make no mistake, a Greek's not going to torture you unless there's a little honey, lemon juice, and olive oil involved.
It's what happened.
And a goat.
Yeah,
It's what it is.
And so then after he does that, he wants to keep going.
Yeah.
He's like, we're gonna go get the laser beat. We're getting everybody.
Getting everybody.
All right, well, let's go. We're gonna fight the elephants.
Yeah.
And the Persians did have some elephants too.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, but I understand using elephants back then. That was a big mighty animal. I don't understand using elephants in modern warfare.
Yeah. So then after he, it's crazy. He conquers Persia. He goes down. They drive. These people. They marched like thousands and thousands and thousands.
Probably dying along the way.
Dude, the march he took his soldiers on, you could understand why they had enough. It was 8 years or 10 years straight.
Because those kids' Fitbits must have been going
Off the charts.
Yeah.
And everywhere they went, they plundered, they raped, they got rich. And I think it just got old even for them. And they were like, Alex, we've had enough, dude. I just want to go home. I've
done it all.
I've banged enough too. Got enough money. I've just had enough. He made the march all the way back down. So they were all the way up in Persia. He
in
made
sandals, cuz.
in sandals.
They didn't even
In
have New
sands.
Balance sneakers
They
on.
did this in sandals.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? They must have had a podiatrist on staff.
100%. Yeah, they had your father-in-law.
Yeah. So they march down, and then he goes and he takes Egypt. He in the middle of Persia. He's like, let's go. I gotta go get that. So he goes down. He gets all that.
Was Egypt high and mighty? That's Cleopatra, right?
Well, no. That comes later.
Okay,
that
sorry.
comes later.
I'm
Yeah,
jumping
that
ahead.
comes
I'm jumping
later.
ahead.
Yeah. That's more of the Rome era. But
Yeah.
so he takes it and he takes Egypt and he founds Alexandria and he founds the city. And all along the way, the kid is so wild. All along the way of his conquering of Persia, he founds all these cities, and guess what he calls them all? Alexandria.
Yeah.
He just he's like, here's another Alexandria.
Because make no mistake, there's an Alexandria in Virginia.
Yeah,
He didn't
there's-
even conquer it. He just said, throw one over there.
He's like, throw it over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just would call them all Alexandria. He was not a creative kid.
He was
a
like George
conqueror.
Foreman, just naming all his kids George Foreman or Georgina Foreman. That's what it is.
Yeah. They were all Alexandria. And the one,
Wow.
the Alexandria that was the farthest in Persia, he named that one the farthest Alexandria.
That's
They
the
were
name
all
of it.
named Alexandria.
Yeah.
There's only one Alexandria that survives, and that's Alexandria, Egypt. But then
Right.
it became like a power. It became like a very
He was
important
starting to get
city.
intoxicated with the power at this point,
Because
right?
the kid, there's how do you view this kid? I mean, there was a lot of people who in Macedonia viewed him as a tyrant. They hated him. They thought he was a tyrant. There was different opinions, just like there are today, of different political and military leaders. I guess back then you couldn't separate the military and the political leaders. They were both.
One
He was
and
the
same.
leader, one and the same. So
Yeah, you also couldn't publicly say back then that you disliked Alexander the Great.
no,
You'd
you
be
were
killed
gonna
for
get
that.
your head cut off.
You get your head cut off.
You get
Yeah.
your head cut off.
Yeah.
But what he did do is he spread Hellenic culture everywhere. And he did encourage intermarriage with the people he conquered.
So that's good.
To unify
So he wasn't
stuff.
a racist kid.
No, and he set up viceroys everywhere to control the areas that he conquered. But here's the thing about Alexander. He really was a great military general. He was one of the best, if not the best. But that's about it.
Right.
Because the empire didn't last.
Right.
He died when he was 32. So maybe it's like Jimi Hendrix, right? We're calling him the greatest guitarist of all time because the kid died real young.
Right.
We didn't get to see him like go into his 60s and do Baskin Robbins commercials.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe like if he would have lived, he would have like soiled his own legacy by doing weird stuff.
It's like guess what? Like, like Biggie Smalls is an amazing rapper, but he died too young. I mean, right now, make no mistake, he would be on Ozempic and it just wouldn't look good.
It just would be. It would be a bad
good.
look. Like Madonna now, you're just going. This is not a good look. Some people are just living past their
Look
legacy.
at Elvis Presley at the end of his life, dying, fat off on the toilet. You don't want that. If he would have died at 32, we'd calling Elvis the greatest of all time.
Exactly.
But you saw him at the end, so it's good that Alexander died at 32. How did the kid die?
Because if he didn't die, because he'd be in his 50s and he'd be doing feta cheese commercials.
It's just what it is.
Selling olive oil or something like that.
It's what it is.
Maybe he'd start a podcast at the time. It just wouldn't be a good look.
Yeah, he would just be coming into his twilight years, looking at his shoulders, going, "It's about radical acceptance."
Yeah, it would just be different. We just know him as that young, great conqueror.
Yeah, it's just what it is. Now,
So he dies.
No, but before that, when does he get to bang out Cleopatra? How does that happen?
That's a totally different era.
Is that not Alexander the Great?
No, that's not Alexander the Great. You're talking about Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, who also banged out J-Lo.
But wait a second.
He got to bang out Cleopatra and J-Lo.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Didn't Alexander the Great in Rosario Dawson, this movie about Alexander the Great?
That was Roxanne.
Oh, Roseanne.
That was it was his Persian wife, Roxanne, who fucking murdered his other wives. She was a jealous kid.
But she was a piece.
She was probably a piece. The kid banged. And then he had he conquers Alexandria before he dies. And the whole way, he's got these three generals that are really great. Right. They don't get enough credit. Ptolemy, the other guy that Jesse will pull up. Those are the three guys that end up after a lot of infighting after he dies because he didn't name his successor. He had no plans. He had no will. He didn't expect he was going to die. He died of a fever, poisoning, or something.
They don't know.
But so Cassander, Ptolemy, and Seleucus were the three that took over his empire afterwards. And the Ptolemy dynasty is the one that ruled Egypt. And that's where Cleopatra comes in. She's a descendant of the Ptolemies, that family. She's an inbred bitch.
And she was a piece.
Not even really, supposedly. We're doing that. I think we did Cleopatra. But we'll do it again. We'll do it again. She was supposedly just really confident and like sexy, but not that much of a piece. She had a nose.
Supposedly a big nose.
She had a beak.
But she wasn't purebred Egyptian. She ruled over Egypt. She was a Greek girl.
Yeah, because the Greeks ruled over Egypt. Yeah,
it's
from
what it
that
is.
dynasty that was started from that general who was under Alexander the Great. Now, Alexander was a kid that had a boyfriend.
It's what it is.
Yeah, the kid just had a boyfriend.
He was banging chicks, but he had a boyfriend.
He had wives. He was banging chicks. A lot of the times he took wives for political reasons to unite the places he conquered.
Yeah.
But the whole time, his true love.
Yeah.
And much like a Chrissy situation, he banged women and he loved a man.
He loved a man.
Yeah, he loved a man. Hestavia. How do you pronounce that?
Where do we see it?
Right
Alexander
there.
the Great's best friend was Hephaestion.
A
Macedonian nobleman in General's army, and they said his best friend.
Yeah.
So make no mistake, because if you're a man with a best friend, you're banging that guy.
Dude, they were, it was his closest friend and bodyguard, but
they were together for 13 years.
They were lovers. So the situation is they were lovers, and back then it wasn't considered gay. It's interesting when you hear about this stuff because everyone did it. Everyone was bisexual back then. There was no... it wasn't considered, that guy's gay. The illest guys were doing it. The strongest guys were doing it.
Alexander the Great and Hephaestion would be having a podcast talking about the history during their time, and then at the end they would just kiss on the lips.
They just kissed on the lips.
It is, yeah.
And Alexander, when he was in a different mood for a different cuisine, he just ordered something different.
It's what it is.
So if he was banging his wife, and then the next night he was like, "Give me a fucking ballless boy."
Yeah, it's
and
what
I'm
it is.
just gonna play with his asshole, and then and when I want love, I'm calling Hestavia. How do you pronounce it?
I think it's Hephaestion.
I'm calling him face yet, and I'm fucking cuddling with
what
the
it
kid.
is, cuz
Alex is cuddling.
Alexander the Great said, "I need for the table."
For the table.
That's what it is.
But when he wanted love and he wanted to cuddle and he wanted to lay on somebody's hairy chest, he
called up Hephaestion.
He called up who was his bodyguard and his best friend, and they were lovers, cuz they were in a relationship.
It's what
for
it is.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they were together for over 13 years. They were together this whole run.
Until he died.
He traveled with him. He took his family on the road.
Yeah. It's what it is. And make no mistake, part of his family was just a guy.
It was a guy.
He had a wife and kids, and then he had a boyfriend.
He took his fucking, and it was his main guy.
Yeah.
So make no mistake, his wives were not first tier.
No, the boyfriend.
Histavion was fucking his family.
Yeah.
So, because when he died, the kid was mourning like crazy. Like his
Right.
wife's died. He was like, all right, what are we going to eat?
Yeah.
He was just like, what's for lunch?
Yeah.
When this dude died, he made it into a holiday. There was like days of mourning all throughout the empire. The kid was wailing and crying. I think I don't think he had. I think he didn't even probably have sex after that. He couldn't. He was too distraught with grief. He couldn't. He just, I think the only way he could get it up when he was banging these chicks was he was thinking about Histavion. I think he just projected Histavion's face on these chicks. But then when Histavion's guy, he just couldn't do it.
He couldn't do it. He couldn't bang anybody anymore. And then he was going to. He died soon after.
Yeah, and then he would try different things. Like if you suck it a little babe, maybe I can get up. You suck it a little babe, but it just didn't
wouldn't
work.
do it.
It just not enough.
He needed
that kid to be alive.
He needed to face Dion's mouth on that.
Yeah,
and
so
listen, and it's just listen.
Isn't that wild that they were
It
all
is
gay?
wild, and I kind of like that world. Like, why do we have to label everything? Like,
You're a
let me
kid from
just be me.
Yeah, I don't think it's a coincidence that you're a kid who loves history, does this podcast,
Yeah.
and sort of obviously have those deep down. You're just ready for whatever.
It's what it because I'm wearing.
You spin the wheel.
Because I'm wearing a sweatshirt that says "Fit Mommy."
Yeah,
It's just what it is. It says "Fit Mommy."
no, look, if we were back then, I don't think we would be soldiers. I just don't think. I think what I would do, I would be too scared to do that. I'm not a warrior.
Yeah.
I would be. I think I would go gay. I would become gay. I'd go into a harem. I'd offer my balls and say, take them.
100%. Well, I
get fed. All I got to do is get banged out. Take my balls.
Well,
I'd offer.
we've discussed this on Hyenas years ago, where we said we would be eunuchs in one ancient world. We'd be eunuchs, and then like more closer to Revolutionary War times, we'd be the drummer boys at the back.
Yeah,
we would just be hitting that drum at the back, and then we would go when we would go conquering different cities. We would be in there looking for sweets and looking for dudes. That's what it is, and we would be at the back of the army, and we would probably desert. Let's be honest, we'd be deserters.
Yeah, we'd be
We would be hung together, desert, and we would just be being us. And as we're getting hung, we'd be going, cute.
Yeah, that's what would happen.
Yeah, that's what would happen. And then the army would be happy to get rid of us.
We'd get hung like this, even if we got crucified in Rome. It would be funny to just put us in different eras.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to we're talking to the fans. Put us in different eras with this, that there's got to be a picture of us drinking smoothies or something.
Yeah.
Put us in the different eras. Put us in the crucifixes. Put us in Alexander the Great's army.
Yeah.
Put us in Victorian in England.
Yeah.
Just put us in those pictures.
Yeah, because put us on the crucifix and then put us like with the smoothies and then just put Jordan 1s on Yanni's feet.
Yeah, we would have we would have been those kids in any era.
Any era would be who we are. And I honestly think in any era, though, I think we would be probably to the real guys in the army. They would be like, oh, these are the girls that we bring around. These two girls we bring around, even though they would just refer to us as women. And I think we might annoy them, but the top general would say, don't kill them because they're funny kids. They're fun girls that just hang around the army, and the guys get a kick out of them. But the enemy, and I think the enemy as well, if they ever capture us, the enemy would say, we don't know what to do with these girls. They're kind of blowing our minds. And I don't think they would kill us.
Yeah,
but eventually we die anyway. I would die from a heart attack from sweets.
Yeah.
And you would probably die because you would just be popping off and pontificating and someone would shoot you in the head.
Yeah. So his empire didn't last long. His generals took over. That lasted longer than his empire. So that lasted a long time. So he died in Babylon of either malaria, typhoid poisoning.
What are we talking about?
Alexander the Great. Yeah. And his 3 generals took over his empire and to varying degrees of success for periods of time, but a lot longer than him, like I said. But the Greek culture spread all throughout those that region and it mixed with local cultures and bred a lot of great stuff, and the Greek language was everywhere, and so his influence went on.
And that's another thing to think about too, because by the way, I do think that we're coming into the glory years of American history. I think these next 20 years are going to be really good. I have faith, but just know that as powerful as America is right now, they were never probably as powerful if you're just looking at like geographical standpoint and just the way the world was back then. They were never as powerful as Alexander the Great's regime and army, and even they crumbled. So my point is, like, America is great right now, but it could also go away because everything goes away.
And also, those types of kids with the ambition, you just see humans always go too far. If the kid would have just stopped, Like, he didn't want to stop. You got all of Persia. It's time to go home. Set up your viceroys. Now run your empire. He was not a good administrator. He was not a good ruler. He was a good military tactician. And I think he kind of knew that in his head or whatever. And he was like, I want to die.
Yeah.
I think somewhere subconsciously he was like, I don't want to rule this thing.
I have a
I
death
get the
wish.
rush from actually getting the stuff.
Right.
And then he killed himself.
But that's
Because he didn't find peace and he didn't get friendly with his president and he didn't practice radical acceptance.
You got to practice it.
You
He
got to
didn't
get to that point.
Unfortunately, Eckhart Tolle wasn't alive yet to just tell him what was going
Yeah,
on. To talk to him about the power of now.
Yeah.
I mean, cuz make no mistake, we're going to keep going, but we got to eat.
We got to eat.
We
So,
gotta
but
eat,
let
but
me
not
just
yet.
say,
But I got to get. Cuz make no mistake, I'm a hungry kid.
We're gonna eat
But I
now?
already had an oatmeal and I worked out a badass. Cuz I had a good workout.
You had a
today.
good workout?
Yeah,
So
we
let-
did burpees with 25-pound dumbbells and I did nice
so
presses.
you're working out like a housewife now.
Working out like a housewife now, yeah. And I was just, Joe. I was on the phone with Joe DeRosa the other day, and he was like, "Excuse me, hold on." And I was on hold for 30 seconds. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm working out." I was like, "What are you doing?" He said he was lifting 10-pound dumbbells and doing bicep curls with them. I was like, "You're a further."
Well, yeah, that's all his shoulders can handle.
Yeah.
So he did have a favorite eunuch. So we will end on his favorite
yes,
eunuch because we
please.
love eunuchs on this podcast.
What a eunuch is, if people don't know, a eunuch is number one, Wei Shan Xian. Would you hear that sound effect? That was a famous eunuch. But what a eunuch is a man who gets his testicles removed in ancient times. Get his testicles removed because the thought was, and they were accurate on this, was the ancient rulers of the time would think we can't trust men around the harems of women, or really around even them in the private councils, because if a man they're all motivated by sex, and you can't trust a man that wants to bang women. So they would remove the sex urge from boys, and they would call them eunuchs, and they would typically work in very close with the king or emperor, and they would rule over their harem of sex slaves that they had because they knew they were safe with this dude.
Yeah, they would watch the harems. They also had multi-purposes. Later, they would be sopranos. They'd cut their balls off so they could sing high. And also, one of the another major purpose of them was to get banged out, because when you take the balls out, you don't develop the masculine features.
Yeah.
So you're basically, they make you trans.
Yeah, it's what it
was
is.
the way before they had before they had estrogen injections or knew anything about that. They just removed the balls at a young age, and the kid just looked like a girl.
Yeah, it's just what it is.
And
He got banged out.
He got banged out. Boys got banged out with their nuts. But he did have a favorite eunuch, and that favorite eunuch's name was Bagos. And Bagos got bagged up.
It's
and
what it is.
banged.
Andrew Bagos.
Andrew Bagos
Yeah.
got banged. It was his favorite eunuch, and he had a relationship with that eunuch. So he had a favorite eunuch, he had a lover, and he had wives.
And do you think that even during that
Kid
time,
ate everything on the menu.
it's what it is? Because do you think at that time, the kid Bagos, the other soldiers would stand around and change that B to an F when they were writing about him?
Wei Xiain.
You think they would just say that behind his back and they would just call him?
Yeah.
It's what it is.
Yeah, Bagos the younger.
It's what it is.
Yeah,
cuz.
he was his little known lover. So it's this stuff from history. Eunuchs are just one of these wild things from history that they just did to kids.
Yeah.
They did it in the Eastern
I
Hemisphere.
mean, we've spoken about Nero before, like
Yeah.
how wild it gets.
It just gets wild, and they just love.
It is, and we will do another episode on Nero, but one of the things I remember from our old Hyenas episode of Nero a few years ago is that Nero was a kid that had, wives and stuff, and same thing, emperor, and the difference between him and Alexander the Great is, yes, Alexander the Great had a boyfriend, and so did Nero, but when Nero married his boyfriend, Nero wanted to be the bride. So Nero put on the veil and the wedding dress and got walked down the aisle as the bride.
Yeah.
It's just what it is.
Because power just makes your brain not good.
Because could you imagine could you think about your wedding?
Yeah.
Could you imagine going down as the bride?
No, yeah,
It'd be a 10.
Dude, power just makes you when everything is at your disposal and you don't have to work for anything. Your brain just goes into a weird place. It gets scrambled a little bit. Just like when people listen to this podcast, their brains get scrambled a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that was Alexander the Great.
Yeah, that was Alexander the Great, and I do think he was great for what he did. I know that there's controversy around him, but I think he's a fascinating guy. And look, when you go back in history, you realize every time we do this podcast and we teach you a history lesson, you realize things aren't really that much different today. It's just different.
Except for the eunuch stuff.
Yeah, that's just a little, but that's coming back now too, or it would have come back, but thank God you voted the other way.
Yeah, do you think that's coming back at all, though? Do you think it'll happen again?
Bro, I mean, they're not cutting off their balls, but there's people out there who are stopping their testosterone from growing.
Wow, so
the eunuchs are coming back.
Here's an interesting fact I just looked up about Bagos, which
We
is
are
really
the
funny.
ChatGPT sluts.
Yeah, I just went to ChatGPT real quick. Bagos was actually Darius's eunuch.
Wow.
So after Darius got killed,
that was a spite fuck.
I think it was a spite fuck. Yeah.
Wow.
He took it because he was a Persian eunuch that was he was in Darius's court, and it was his eunuch. So he was like, this, having him dead's not good enough. Killing Bessos isn't good enough. Now I need to fuck his eunuch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so he joined his entourage and quickly gained favor. And Alexander just fucking licked his neck and banged his ass.
It licked his neck and banged his. And cuz, you know what it just made me think of? I don't know why it's popped in my head, but you know what we got to do again? We got to go on a walking tour. Remember we used to go on the Big Onion walking tours? We got to go on them when it gets nice in the winter.
Yeah, cuz, should we read some Patreon names?
Oh, you want to? Oh, yes. Well, yeah, that's the end of the episode. And now here we go. We got the Patreon names, which, by the way, we are catching up on. Okay, if you have not heard your name, please don't get upset. We will get to you. We just are. There's like 7,000 Patreon members now, and we're halfway through. So we will get your name. You got to listen every week. At the end of the episode, you go to patreon.com/historyhyenas. You put in a funny name, and then we will pick the funniest name. We put them on a list, and then we'll pick the PPW, the pseudo penis of the week, and then your name will be up for a week at historyhyenasisback.com. We've been doing that, right? We've been putting up the PPWs. All right, good. All right, here we go. So now, the newest members of the matriarchy that have signed up in the last couple of weeks, let's bring it up. Oh, well, we got a big celebrity to start it all off. Steve Martin.
Steve Martin is here. Good to see you.
Daniel Donato, Joey Cumbum.
Cumbum.
Like Crumbum from the old Frank Rizzo episode, but Cumbum is interesting.
Here's the thing. He gets a 10 for Cumbum.
Cumbum is good.
Cumbum's going on the list.
Okay,
just because of it's for Crumbum. Yeah.
Got it. James Peckle, make my pseudo penis sneeze. Not bad, right?
Put him on the list.
All right, wow, we got
right out the gate.
Right out of the gate. 2 out of the 6 have made the list.
This is like Alexander the Great just charging into Persia right out the gate.
Yeah, then we got Hist Tism, Kevin Brown, Terrence, Mark, Scott McDonald, Jonathan Delorio, Chris Herrera, Daniel Atchison, Tubbs McGubbs.
That was a lot of straight to the backs in a row.
Yeah. Mike Thompson, Mogos Tedla. Then we got Kamala Hairy Ass Gugun. Okay.
Yeah, that's a Drexler.
Jack Kritzer. Then we got Matreon on Patreon, Bean A, No Hard R.
I don't know. But you're
Matreon on Patreon, Bina, No Hard R.
Oh, Beaner.
Like a beaner. Got it. Okay.
Victim of a bad read.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, victim of a bad read. It's a victim of a bad read.
Then this kid put 2 pictures of roosters and he wrote Aras Con Pollo.
Drexler, nice.
Then we got Chris. Then we got I want to show Johnny that I'm tougher than a $2 steak, crazy style. Okay. Pushvit, hope you're okay.
Okay.
Pushvit, I hope you're okay. Robert E. Lamari, Justin Rappa. Then we got treat the border like Joel Osteen's church after Harvey.
Close it down. Yeah. Yeah, that's on the list. That's a contender.
That's a contender because that was a name that that was a 2-parter.
You had to think it.
Yeah.
And then that's the type of, that's when you know people are starting to get really played. Some guys are playing checkers on here. That kid was playing chess.
Good job. Then we got Backyard Bar Wars is back, baby.
I'll give it a Drexler. Yeah.
Matt Kelly, Meech Davis. Then we got Leroy with a laser. My fumes have a sour flavor.
Put him on the list.
Put it on the list.
Yeah.
Okay. Donnie Brasco. Then we got my girl's ex is a Leroy. It's just what it is, cuz.
Okay, Drexler. Yeah.
William Rice, Joshua Oviedo. Then we got Smithtown Water wants a Smithtown Water wants a closed border.
Victim of a bad read and still good going on the list.
Oh, wow. It's funny.
Yeah.
Lynn's P. Chrissy used my glue as conditioner, cuz Samson.
Drexler.
Engelbert, Corey, Calvin Sleeball, Travis Cayabedo, Peter DeRoche, Christopher Sarmientano, Caitlin. Then we got Kamala Ding Dong, Hannah Dillon, Avigny. Oh, we got Avegny Kuznetsov. Oh, well, we got a Russian spy on here. Rosie, Nicholas Shuri, David Owen. Then we got Scratch and Sniff, my little David Cheese on your knees, please.
Drexler.
Okay.
Funny, though.
Yeah.
Funny, Drexler.
Then we got Barack is a queen because he sucks on Big Mike's peen, ladder 14. That's a 10.
Get the catapult down.
Yeah, kid's on the list. He might be the contender now.
Yeah.
Nice rhyme scheme.
Yeah, and very funny. Yeah.
See, and then we got a tough one. This is a tough one to follow, but it's a good
that's
name.
going to be the winner. Who's going to beat that?
I know.
Yeah.
And this is a Drexler I already know right off the bat. We got Kippy's left nut.
It's a
which
true-
is
it's a good one.
bad
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're before one of the best in history. But Kippy's left nut is great.
Yeah, that's the definition of why you get Drexler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marcus Medrano, Stephen Cheatham, Roman De Hoyos. Then we got the Menendez brothers are back. Oren Kuj, Peter Curtis, Ashton Spann.
Can you say we have a very Hispanic fan base?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah, yes, we do.
I love it.
Yeah. Riley did the right thing on the 5th. What does that mean? Riley? Is that like a politician who... That's probably something we got to know. I'm sure it's talking about November 5th, Election Day.
Yeah.
Maybe their name is Riley.
Maybe their name is Riley.
Okay.
Yeah.
Landon Burtis, Jennifer Sermonian, Rusty Scalaford.
God, I'm still thinking about that Obama one.
It's a 10. Then we got Brian, my girl's Hindi, but has no fumes. Trust me, cuzzy.
Just a funny Drexler. Unfortunately, unfortunately, it's just the wrong day for you.
Then we got Anthony Garcia. Then we got... As you smell, okay. Disparaging a friend,
you
can't do that.
You walked into one.
I walked into one. I'm sorry, can't disparage him. He's a friend of the show. Then we got Polish trash monkey Maddie with a fat dumpy wumpy.
Okay.
Megan Irvine. Then we got straight to the back. Thomas Ocholik. Then we got learning how to box breathe from Father Bill.
Sometimes, it's Father Bill's so played out, but sometimes they get so inventive with it.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw him on the list, but I'm just telling you, you're not a contender, but you're on the list.
You're on the list
Yeah,
because Yanni's been talking about box breathing.
Yeah, it's very funny.
So we got Lisa Z, Cole Campbell. Then we got Backyard Bar Fumes with Chrissy D.
Yeah.
Then we got Lord Trump.
Okay.
Then we got On Feet Finder Moving the Monkey. I think that kid was just saying what he was doing. Yeah.
Strong Drexler could have been on the list, but
Clark Denham.
we all know who the winner is. on the
Yeah,
list.
but we're going to keep
We're
going.
going to keep going.
Wayne Martin, Scott Mitch, because you never know.
You never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come with an October surprise.
An October surprise. Benjamin Worth. Then we got Pappas, Diddy Stefano.
Okay.
Andrew.
Wait, that's a good one. Pappas.
Diddy Stefano.
Did he? Okay. Well,
Okay.
I know what he's going for.
Yeah, that's good. Then we got Big Mike's Glue Gun.
Okay.
I mean, this
Yeah.
fan base is going to
Chicken
Big
finger.
Mike.
That's
Yeah.
a chicken figure. Yeah.
Then we got Baby Swamp Ass.
Yeah.
Sama Kasim. Then we got Mel. Not a big fan of Leroy's Gibson. Okay, can't
walked into
say
one
that
with security.
But he is saying it's Mel Gibson.
Oh,
So he's saying Mel, not a big fan of the Leroy's Gibson.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Chicken finger.
chicken finger, but
that's
still
a
not
Drexler.
okay.
It's a
Yeah,
Drexler.
but
not
still
okay.
security
Yeah,
getting ushered to the back.
Yeah. Whole bunch of confusing
We're not going to do
feelings.
that.
Yeah.
Then we got Aunt Tootie here to get cracked open by the boys. I think that's an Are You Garbage fan.
Yeah.
Rebecca Romano, Screwed In Turk on Notice, no Diddy. Chrissy. Then we got Chrissy rubs his nipples, then gets sad. Interesting. Cameron Campbell.
Someone's got a camera in your house. Yeah.
Tim Dillon's Twink Harem.
There's been a lot of variations of that.
Right. But it's good.
It's a good one. So Drexler.
Okay. Arik Volk, Luca Rosati, Pedro Clavero, Shiver Me Timbers, Kevin Wayne, Lexi Hazen. Then we got Robbie gets his rocks off. Hold on. Robbie gets his rocks off to the folks being mad at Tony D. Okay. Oh, sorry. No. Robbie gets his rocks off to the folks being mad at Donnie T.
Oh,
Got it. Okay. Sorry.
Kid's a huge Donald Trump fan.
That's what it is. Ryan King, Michael Trenner, James Morris, Kevin Key. Then we got I'll Come and See You in a Different Gay. It's a good one.
It's a good one. Throwback. It's Drexler, but a very good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then we got Kraken, Jesse the Ensel, Ed, and Eddie, Mike, Yanni's Old Clonnies.
It's a good one.
Good one.
That's a good one, Drexler.
Aaron Bailey Merceri, Grayson Bell. Then we got Muzzy, who was married to their cousin Wuzzy.
Drexler.
Okay. Jose Maldonado, Israel Gaitan, Froggy and Fatty's Feel Good Emporium.
This is Screwed In.
Yeah, it's Screwed In.
Go check it out wherever it is.
Yeah. Then we got CJ Trickstar with a small character piece.
It's great. Drexler. Great.
Scott Edwards. Then we got Fish Mo, yeah. Okay. GT, Evan Chotsko. Matt Curry, Tim Reyes, Brandon Powell, William Menavar, Namin Jean, Demi Kammer.
Chicken figure.
Then we got Yanni, this is a tough one. Yanni Say Uni and Chris. It's with a chub. I'm sorry. It's so many letters. It's impossible to read.
Okay.
Cody Bailew, Denise Hamilton. Then we got Not Another Cooking Show. John Black, Voldu 89, Poopy Butt. Then we got Jack Manley's 4-year Hey Babe Fumari, aka Joe DeRosa's new lady boy for Rome. It's what it is.
Okay.
Nicholas Doherty. Then we got Tristan, not a Muzzy, maybe a Cuzzy, Def a Leroy. Okay,
Okay,
he's a black kid.
He's a black kid, yeah. Chicken figure.
Jimmy
Well, that's
Jean-
more of a Drex.
Jimmy Jean, 69. Then we got Chrissy Cuckmouth for Christ, 69. Okay.
Okay.
Casey Watson, Jared Post. Then we got Ladder 14, new policy, not pulling Dems out of fires if Donnie T doesn't win.
Right.
Okay.
That guy must have got on before the election.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Schindler, Ian Gold. Then we got Jeffy, make no mistake, my life's a fake. I'm trading in my snakes for a fish cake, Trump 2024.
Okay. That was a long one. Good rhyme scheme.
Yeah. Michael DeGloria, Pete Schlotsky, James Flack, Landon, Edward Hernandez, Stephen Carinello. California is a shithole girl. We Free, Brendan Egan, Mark, Johnny Sullivan, Gil Clare. Then we got AOC's period panties.
Oh, my God. It's gross. But
Gross.
Yeah. I
Okay.
put them on eBay.
All right, great. Then we got Namin with the clean smash bean, Patrick Innes, Mikhail Yakub, GME. Okay. We'll do these last group.
No, I mean with Smash Bean.
I like
It's a
that.
Drexler.
Okay. Then we got G Zenner Projects LLC. Screwed in.
Screwed in.
JG, Andrews Nielsen, Andrew Dean, Deirdre O'Neill, Honeytune S, Tim Dillon's FF Twink. We get a lot of Tim Dillon's Twinks. David Gomez, Trash Lewis, Teresa Tondornati, Paul Malia, Certified Dessert Trash, Zach, or Certified Desert Trash.
Certified Desert Trash.
Okay.
So he's been
we know what
maybe
they're saying
he's
about
a
themselves.
Sandra D.
Yep. SMM 55491, Deirdre O'Neill. Then we got JP from the OC TBG that's voting red. It's what it is. Okay, so we know who our fan base is.
Yeah.
Nicholas Rodriguez, Getty Lee, Foley Loaded Nachos, like Foley from, okay, Gabe Itch.
Yeah.
Then we got Sucio Papichulo, Jason from the Sea, Oop Ivy, Chelsea Utzler, Katie A, Brian Maloney, Enrique, Calvin Combs, Winston Welch, JC Chavez. Okay, from NSYNC.
Yeah.
I like that.
JC Chavez. Maybe it's him.
It could be.
Yeah.
Full of fumes. Then we got Madeline, Nick, Edison Rosario, Brandon Nagel, Matt Aldridge, Tom Sev. Then we got Luke Butt Chugging. Okay. Then we got Luke Butt Chugging Lakeside Maple. Yanni did 9/11.
Yeah. Drex.
Good.
Yeah.
Then we got Mikey,
Good surprise.
Mikey, my nickname in high school definitely didn't mean vagina minge. Okay.
Okay.
Obama's daddy, Juan Falco, 1/5, Lucas Grimm, Kevin, Julian Falco, Sergeant Snuggles, Tube Sock Cock with the Glock, January 6, 2021.
Good one.
Tim Dillon's Tiny Twink, we've just had it. Gage Peters, Ollie Platts, Adrenal Crisis, JP, and then we have John Hartenstein is cracked open and cleaned out. Okay.
Okay.
So we
We were
have,
looking for an October surprise. We didn't
but
get one.
we didn't get one October surprise. I'm just kind of looking through this list. We don't have, doesn't look like we have any October surprises here. So we're just going to start with this list.
Yeah, give them an honorary read, but I mean, it's a definite for me. Who the winner
Okay,
is.
all right,
Yeah.
we're
And
gonna
sometimes, they're all different. This
It
one's just a
happens.
definite. Yeah.
It happens. Okay, so let me just read them out just because we need to read them out, but we do know who the winner is, but we're going to read them out because, make no mistake, this list started off extremely strong.
Yeah.
So this is why you listen the whole way through, because sometimes the list start off weak and then they get strong as the show goes on.
Yeah,
you never know.
Never know.
So we got Cum Bum, Make My Pseudo Penis Sneeze. Then we got
Two funnies.
Treat the Border Like Joel Osteen's Church After Harvey.
Well, I'm going to call him a contender.
A contender
Yeah.
still? Okay,
Yeah.
Leroy with a laser. My fumes have a sour flavor.
See, on any other day, guys, on any other day, either one of you,
Learning how to box breathe from Father Bill.
on any other day.
Smithtown Water wants a closed border.
That's a contender. I mean, on
Contender?
any other day. On any
So
other
this
day.
is so the contender right now is Treat the Border Like Joel Osteen's Church After Harvey. Smithtown Water wants a closed border, and then last but not least, this is the final contender. Barack is a queen because he sucks on Big Mike's peen. Ladder 14.
It's definitely
That's
last
the winner,
one. It's
folks.
the
So
winner.
that you
Yeah.
are the PPW.
Yeah, it's
Congratulations.
definitely- yeah.
So we can get rid of those. Those are done. Guys, thank you so much. History Hyenas is back.com. Got everything up there. Patreon.com/History Hyenas, where you have we have a bonus episode that's up there right now. Only way to get your name read out. And
See us on the road.
see us on the road.
Yeah,
Where are you gonna be?
I'll be in Portland this weekend, Friday and Saturday. I will be in Fort Worth, Texas, December 29th, Dallas, December 30th, Milwaukee, December 6th, 7th, Bridgeport, Connecticut, December 13th, 14th, Austin, Texas, December 20th through the 22nd, and then dates in Rochester and Tempe and Chicago and Philadelphia. all coming up in the new year, San Diego, all that. So go to YannisPappasComedy.com.
Go see Yanni. And then I am in Madison, Wisconsin this weekend. I think shows are sold out. If you want to get a couple scalps, go ahead and get it. Then we have Phoenix. We'll be in Phoenix in December. Miami to close out the new year, December 28th to the 31st. And then we have San Francisco Cobb's Comedy Club just announced, all at chrisdcomedy.com. Going to put out some more dates for the winter. And then my Hulu special comes out February 21st. So go check it out.